Today, Bill Lazar, Executive Director of St. John's Housing Partnership, will be talking about builders and developers doing good things to make a difference, affordable housing, the importance of the Northeast Florida Builders Association Apprenticeship Program in promoting skilled trade careers, the growing popularity of school construction and engineering academies, and builders care. Joining Bill is Jessie Spradley, Executive Director of the Northeast Florida Builders Association. Good morning.
Morning. Thank you.
Thank you all for being here.
Yep. And I wanted to bring Jessie on. We've known each other for about 10 years or more. And Jessie, as you know, I've been past chair of the St. John's Builders Council, which is one of our trade organizations for builders and developers that work in St. John's County, and we're a part of the Northeast Florida Builders Association. But Jessie and I just wanted to talk about just the number of builders who are involved in our community in so many different ways. I think a lot of people don't see them because they're not out there patting themselves on the back. But they make a huge difference. And, you know, for nonprofits involved in affordable housing at a number of different levels, if it weren't for some of those builders, things wouldn't have happened. So that's part of what I wanted to bring Jessie on, just because I think it's important for people to realize how much our industry does to make a difference for some folks.
Absolutely. Well, let's get to it. Sure. Let's do it, guys.
Well, you know, Jessie, one of the things is you know, when I look back at the time, and I've been on the Builders Council now for about 20 years, I've had a number of people come through who really have, you know, donated their time, done a lot. Robert Marshall is an old friend of mine. Robert's a custom home builder. He put the housing partnership on the map because when we did our first development at Hancock Place back in the early 2000s, Robert said, you get the financing, I'll pull all the permits, because I didn't have my builder's license at that time. You know, and that was just an example of some builders said, Robert, are you crazy? You know, what, you're pulling the permit, those guys are doing the work. And he's like, but I think affordable housing is important. He's been on affordable housing committees here in St. Johns County for, I think, about 35 years. You know, so that's just an example of some of the folks. You see guys all the time. You know, some of the guys on the Builders Council I know, you know, that have just made a big difference in just some ways that people don't realize. I mean, you said you were talking to Mike Davis the other day. You know, Mike has been chair of the Emergency Services Homeless Coalition for a number of years now. He's now very active in trying to help them to develop their first site for a new shelter. You know, so those are the kind of things that I think it's really important, just whether those guys want to pat themselves on the back. People don't see how much of an impact they have. You know, Chris Shee was real active in helping the Alpha Omega Miracle Home get some of their financing for this new development that they're doing off of State Road 16, which is going to be a brand new campus for probably about 60 or 70 affordable units. So, you know, that's the kind of stuff, you know some of the folks, you know, that you've seen, that you talk to. You know, just tell us about some of the people you met.
Absolutely. So I'm always amazed at the generosity of our members, and especially our builders and development members. I think, so yeah, I came into this industry in 2013. I got hired, I was with the state of Florida previous to that, working with the Florida House of Representatives. And I think I had the perception of builders and developers, who every kid who grew up in the 80s did, that they're the bad guys in every single movie. You know, every Ernest Goes to Camp or any ski movie, they're the ones tearing down whatever the community center to build homes. Or we're the bad guys.
It's true.
But I came into this industry in 2013. A side note on the apprenticeship side, when I got hired, I called my dad. Of course you do. You call your dad. He's like, hey, I got this new job with the Builders Association, and he goes, oh yeah, I did my apprenticeship there. He was an apprentice back in the 70s at NEFBA. I never knew that. He was a plumber, worked for the school board for decades up in Duval County. But yeah, so it kind of came full circle. Yeah. They even still, tell in the Arnold Schmidt days, you didn't throw anything away. So we still had his paper file when I started at NEFBA. But anyhow, to get back onto the bad guy story. So I come in with this expectation of who developers are and builders are. And it completely shifted. One, it's amazing how much the work's all local. Like there's this idea that it's all these big guys rolling out of town, build something, blow out. That is not what's happening. You know, even your biggest developers in this county are local folks. They live here. They work here, they raise their families here, and they want to make good communities, and they want to give back to the communities. Greg Matavina is a gentleman. He's a past president of the Northeast Florida Builder Association, past state president, and he is someone who always harps on newer members that you have to give back. You've been given so much in this industry. You need to be giving back to the community. And I know he has served on the Ability Housing as a chair. He's served with Habitat, obviously with our Builders Care. Within NEFBA, we do have our own 501c3. It's separate of us, but adjacent, called Builders Care, and their mission is to keep people in their homes. And it is an avenue for our builders who, if they can't find their own path, to come in and work with us. This year we did a Ramp-A-Rama. So again, it's keeping people in their homes. So access to homes, protecting the envelope of homes, a lot of re-roofs, roof repairs, bathroom access issues, but ramps are the big thing. So we spent a 6-week period just focusing on ramps. So I believe we ended up building 22 ramps in 6 weeks.
That's huge.
And then 42 throughout the year. And we're hoping to continue to grow that every year. So excited about that. Chrissy Barkus, our executive officer there, and has done just a fantastic job kind of reorganizing and reinvigorating that. A program that our builders do to help support that is what we call Home for a Heart. And I know you know Chris Shee well, incredibly generous guy who lives in this county, loves this county, supports a wide variety of things, but he's also a big supporter of Builders Care. He built a Home for the Heart for us, and it ends up raising over $100,000 for our program, so we can go out and do those things and help people in need at no cost to them. I'm trying to think of just all the people who help, and it's incredible. It's almost overwhelming.
Well, one of your other presidents that I've worked with a lot is Andy Chambers.
Yes.
And Andy, I ran into him. He just helped build the ramp that we partnered with y'all in Builders Care and did about 2-3 weeks ago for Mr. Kyle. Andy's active on his local Rotary group. So he got the Rotary group involved. He got his NEFBA members involved. He wanted to build this ramp. But, I was talking to him a while back, and Andy had gone out and bid on doing a kitchen renovation for the Betty Griffin House, the home for battered women. Their kitchen was about 25 years old, just wore out. He went in and did all this at cost, and I think a lot less than cost, because he just felt like he could do it.
Yeah.
And, I don't think anybody but the Betty Griffin folks knew how much he had done and what it would have really cost. But it was huge, and Andy took that on just by himself, because, and I really think that's kind of the leadership you have of people at NEFBA is, just like you say, Greg encourages people to be involved, and y'all provide a vehicle to just get everybody to say, why not? You know, especially when you've got something like Builders Care that says, okay, we'll set it up, we just need you to show up. Donate materials, donate your time, we'll plan the project.
Absolutely, and that's what we're there for, to help our builders find that avenue. Plenty of them find their own. I feel like I'm going to keep going back to that Chris Shee well, because he just had his big Clays for a Cause. It was his 10th annual Clays for a Cause, and over the course of that, he has raised over $1 million for local charities.
I'm going to stop you right there.
All
We're
right.
going to take a quick break, and we'll pick this back up with the Affordable Housing Matters program here on 102.1 FM and AM 1240 WFOY. Don't go anywhere.
When we come back, let's talk about the importance of apprenticeship programs
Absolutely.
and what y'all have,
Yeah.
because you never know who might be listening.
You're right.
Well, we'll be in the spring. We open up the application process, so that's a good kind of segue into that.
The St. Augustine Shores Golf
So we got
Course has a full-flex facility
text.
that
I forgot
teaches
to
you
text my staff to tell them I'm
necessary
gonna be late.
adjustments to fix what needs to be
Where's
fixed.
Jessie?
When you're done playing, you celebrate or commiserate on your
All
own.
right. Facebook's up and going. We got some viewers. That's great.
Golf course where you'll always feel welcome. In addition to the area,
So y'all staying busy here, I assume?
Staying busy. Yeah. Little by little, our advertisers are all coming back. That recovery from COVID,
It's wild how long it took.
advertising's always the first to be cut and the last to be brought back. So, that's just how it goes. It should never be the first thing you cut, because that's what
That's how people hear about it.
yeah. But that's what you do when you're struggling. I get it. So, yeah. So it's starting. We got Bozard Ford back. We're excited about that, and
Hey,
little by
they're a
little.
new NEFBA member.
Oh.
Just got them in.
Cool. See, look at that. That's exciting.
And we have 1,300 members, and most of them are not builders. Only about 25% are builders.
Okay.
So the rest are
Wow.
subcontractors, associates, yeah. We have catering members. I mean, it's anybody and everybody
Yeah.
that is associated with our industry as part of it.
Yeah, that's what's
Which
really
I guess
amazing
would be
sometimes
everybody,
is when you
right?
look at
I mean, pretty much.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right?
well, you think about all the things that go into building something or be involved, or those builders, even when they want to do like an appreciation for their trades partners that have helped with stuff, they're calling in a caterer and doing stuff. But it just, I mean, it's fascinating sometimes just all the different vendors that you'll see at some of the NEPA trade shows. 'Cause
Yeah.
there's a role for just about everybody, from insurance to T-shirts to
Yeah,
food.
I mean,
It's
it
all
really
there.
does
Well,
take
the
everybody.
specialization of trades too. Whereas
Yeah.
you have guys who just do siding, you have guys who just do shutters, the soffit guys. It's
Yep.
we did a 24-hour house about 3-4 years ago, and so you end up with all the trades at once trying to work, and you're like, oh my god, this is so many people, like 60 people climbing all over this house. It was wild. Yeah, we were told by our builders, please don't make us do that again.
take 30 days and do it a reasonable thing. Everything else is just, it makes you pull your hair out.
Yeah, I'm building.
Are you?
Yeah.
Good.
I had told you a couple months ago we're doing it. We're
Who's working with you?
Pulte.
Uh-huh.
We're doing Pulte out on 16.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Over by the
In one of their subdivisions?
Grand Oaks.
Okay.
I
Yep.
don't know if you know where that's at.
Just on the west.
So yeah, we're kind of in a holding pattern right now because drywall apparently is.
Yeah, Jimson products are
Back.
hard to find. God help you if you need a transformer. It's 120 weeks on transformers in JA service.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird how that.
Yeah, like 2.5 years.
That's
Wild.
just crazy.
So we're waiting on drywall. They've put the roof on, like everything's just on hold now for drywall. So hopefully we get that. So yeah, I'm excited. All right.
Are we back?
All right, so we come back. We got another 10 minutes. It goes quick, as you know.
Yep.
So make sure we cover what you want to get
Yep,
covered
yep,
and all
yep.
the numbers you want to announce and all that. 'Cause
Okay.
you know it goes quick. Welcome back to the Affordable Housing Matters. You can make a difference in what has become an affordable housing crisis in our county. Our workforce, ranging from teachers to first responders and restaurant workers, are not able to find decent, safe, affordable housing in one of the most prosperous counties in our state. The elderly and local businesses are also suffering. Here's how you can help. If you have property or land, contact the nonprofit St. John's Housing Partnership. If you are not in a position to donate for affordable housing, SJHP can possibly purchase and build affordable housing for community members. You can also make a cash donation or bequeath a gift. SJHP can give you further information about the tax and financial benefits of these and other gift methods. Visit sjhp.org. Welcome back, guys. Just wanted to get that out of the way real quick.
Thank you. Well, Jesse, one of the things that I want to talk about is the importance of apprenticeship programs, because you know, one of the things that any of our builders will tell you is they could probably hire 10 more people if they could find them. And at a certain point, that's a real challenge, just getting things built in a timely manner, everything else. And how we bring people up into apprenticeship programs, to be honest, I think our industry dropped the ball over the last 20 years in not supporting vocational programs. I think government and the schools focus a little too much on college, not enough on sort of having opportunities for people in different directions. But here in St. Johns County, we've got construction academies at several of the high schools. Pedro Menendez has a masonry and carpentry one. There's an engineering one at Nice. There's an engineering one at Creekside. And there's probably a couple others. And all of those have advisory members. They're always looking for new builder, representatives to be on their advisory boards. But we've got a number of folks now that help. And they're out there sort of nurturing that pre-apprenticeship program. But the point is, when you get done with high school, how do you get the learning that you need? I never got it. I basically came up through some of the trades with just a friend showing me what to do, no formal training on any of it. But that training makes all the difference in the world. And y'all got apprenticeship programs for a number of different trades, right?
Yes. So you're absolutely right. For too long, skilled trades were treated like a fallback job, or something. Oh yeah, he's not doing that well. We'll send him off to the skill center. It created a stigma surrounding the trades, which is frankly kind of outrageous because the trades pay great. They're great, stable careers. Again, I'm the son of a plumber. I've seen what that can provide for your family firsthand.
Yep.
The opportunities that provides for folks. And so back in the 70s, NEFPA created an apprenticeship program. So it's been established for quite a while, but within the last 5 or 6 years, it has taken off. We've gotten some great leadership, both from the member side, the folks, we're a member-driven group. We have a member board that oversees our apprenticeship program. But we also have some great staff there. Christina Thomas and her team has taken that program and grown it to where, 80 to 90 apprentices to over 400. So we have 400 apprentices currently in 5 trades. We have electrical, HVAC, plumbing, carpentry, and sheet metal. Electrical is about half of our apprentices. And then plumbing and HVAC, and then carpentry and sheet metal are smaller programs. From there, it is a 4-year program. So just to explain a little bit about apprenticeship programs, I think there's always these rumors and myths of, well, what is it not? Apprenticeship program is not trade schools. An apprenticeship program is tuition free. In the state of Florida, you cannot charge a tuition to the apprentice. It is paid for by the employer. So the employer actually pays for their school for this 4 years that they are in the school. They are paid during an apprenticeship program. They start off, we do a wage survey every year of our participating employers. We have about 200 participating employers. From there, those first-year apprentices are going to be guaranteed at least a 50% pay of what a journeyman would make. And then they get step raises throughout the program, as long as they're hitting their grades, making their attendances. They do have to go to class at night. There's 2 classes. They have to go to 2 classes a week during the spring and fall. So it's a lot of work. There's no getting around it. This is an intensive program, but you come out on the other side in a career where you can be making $60,000, $70,000, $80,000.
Yep.
And that pay, especially in the last couple of years, that pay just continues to rise.
Yep.
So I think it's one of the best things we do at NEFPA. I'm very proud of that program and everything that they've been able to grow and turn it into.
It's really amazing, and I don't think people realize just what the opportunities are. I was chairman of the Builders Council during the last recession. And that's when I saw a lot of parents telling kids, well, you don't want to go into construction because, the downtimes are here. And it's like, but when you look around, I see people like Robert Marshall. He's been a custom home builder for 40 years. He built a career out of it. And Robert is someone that is constantly encouraging someone, saying, look, if you go through the trades, if you learn your skills, you get to the point where you have an opportunity to be an independent contractor. You get your license, you move on, you can build other things, you can do all sorts of things. It's a huge opportunity for someone who's motivated. And for the folks that come through the program, there's this real sense of camaraderie that we're all in this. And it really is a trade where you get treated respectfully in the class, which is huge because sometimes you work for employers who may not necessarily think that well of you, but coming through NEFPA, dealing with NEFPA members, we know how important employees are.
Yeah.
You can't just disrespect them and think they're going to show up and build your business that way. So I've always been impressed. I've been on the advisory board at Pedro for probably 15 years. And I tell the kids in the carpentry program, look, at a certain point, you can charge $120 an hour to hang a door because there may only be 3 of you in town that know how to do it.
Yeah.
And St. Augustine's a great town to work in because on the remodeling side, you have all these older historic homes that there's some masons that have skills that are rapidly disappearing. And it's really fascinating when you reach and meet some of the old tradespeople who just have all these skills that they will impart to folks who want to learn it. And there's so much. I mean, when you walk around St. Augustine and you look at buildings that were built 300 years ago, and they're still standing. It gives you a different level of respect for what our trades can do. And the apprenticeship programs are just an amazing opportunity for someone to get a good start, a good foot in the door, and on for a very strong financial future. We have our ups and downs because of the economy, But ultimately, it's a strong trade that someone can build a career out of and raise a family.
Well, in the trades, you can shift back. You mentioned remodeling. We're seeing, a slowdown on single-family construction right now nationally because of interest rates. But that just means people are going to stay in their homes, and
Yep.
so they're looking to remodel now. So, there's opportunities for the trades on the other side. So, and speaking of the trades and those folks who come on, your growth doesn't stop once you graduate the program.
Right.
From there, you work for your employer. And then a lot of our guys go on to start their own businesses.
Yep.
Many of the folks who are on our advisory panel started as apprentices,
Yep.
a decade ago, 20 years ago, who are now giving back, teaching, helping bring up that next generation of construction career folks.
And that's, I think that's what's really amazing about it. I mean, I've always said you can't be in construction and think that you aren't going to learn something every week. It is constantly changing. The building codes, Lord knows, those change more than you can count on. But it's always something. And then someone, these days with technology, there's so much new stuff popping up that you've got to stay aware of. Your customer wants something different. You've got to investigate it. It's a really intellectually challenging opportunity for folks, but it's a great opportunity.
It's incredible the amount of math that goes into the construction of We do we have a leadership program at NEFBA. We do a frame walk with it, and we are going along with a structural engineer, and just the wind loads and how everything has to be calculated to
Yep.
ensure that house will be secure in a storm event is really impressive. We do have some of the strictest codes in the country in Florida.
We need them. But it's interesting. I saw years ago NEFBA had one of the masonry contractors bring a high school class out to pour a driveway. And he had all the kids out there and had them all lined up, and he had a big whiteboard. And he said, okay, here's what we're pouring. Here's the dimensions of the driveway. Here's the concrete that's coming. Here's my 3 masons, and they're all costing me X amount of dollars an hour. Oh, the concrete truck is late. I've still got them here, and it's costing me X amount of dollars an hour, and they have nothing to do. Then the concrete, and he walked these kids, and you could see the math became real for them because it was a real world experience. And they were sitting there, and they're all figuring out, and then it's like, oh, so what happens? Well, you can't take lunch right now because the concrete's it's going to cure too fast. You've got to stay here and work through it. But it really gave them a sense of, what's geometry, and, a little bit of calculus comes in. And that's, and I've seen, we've got a great instructor at Creekside Elementary, and Kevin Davenport. He brings his students out with us to help build wheelchair ramps. He started with the architectural students. He would have them design the ramp in class. And then he had them come out in the field and try and build what they thought they had designed, and got them that real world of, oh, you have to take into account that you missed the fact that there's a water line where the post is going in, or, oh, you've got to move these plants. But it's such an interesting time in getting the young people involved in that. Give people information if they're interested in the NEFBA apprenticeship program, how they get hold of it.
In carpentry, we are taking applications year-round. For the rest of them, the applications are going to open in the spring. You can go to our website at nefba.com to learn more. We're also looking for instructors right now. So if you're someone who's looking to get into that, and it is a paid position.
Phone number?
All right, wonderful. This has
All
been First Friday, Affordable Housing Matters, a program on housing issues presented by WFOY and produced in cooperation with the St. John's Housing Partnership. Join us again on Friday, February 3rd at 8:30 a.m. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
Is that it?
That's I told you.
Oh, yeah, that was quick.
Wonderful. Good job, guys. All right, let's say goodbye to everyone on
Bye,
Facebook.
Facebook.